Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Excellent, Josh. Excellent fucking background there, man. Come on. Look at you. So well poised. I
Oh,
have a collection of Spider-Man. I could tell you hate him so much.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. It doesn't compare to yours. Like a lot of stuff I'm going to be looking back at after this video, but
That's just all like Kevin Smith scripts and books. That shit's boring. But
oh, well,
it looks like a Bruce Wayne room, right? Like somewhere there's a head that you
yeah.
open and this shit opens and reveals a fat cave of some sort.
Oh man, well, I'd love to look through that as a fan of yours. And you know, I had a great time watching this movie, and I think anyone who loves film, they're going to remember their first time going to the movies, going as a teenager, or their first R-rated experience. So, were those memories of those experiences what really drove you to tell this story, would you say?
I mean, honestly, the first thing that drove me to tell the story is we bought the movie theater 2 years ago. So this movie theater in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, is the one that I grew up going to with my father, with my friends and whatnot. It started as a single screen, became two screens. Today, it's up to five screens. So we got five different screens of various sizes. And it was in trouble post pandemic, of course, like most movie theaters, struggling and about to close. And, naturally, if they were going to sell it, it was not going to remain a movie theater. Those two buildings would become condos and stuff. But me and my friends came in and this is our theater we grew up going to. So it was like, all right, let's try it, man. Like I'm a movie theater. Owning a movie theater should be the end result, like the thing I'm heading toward without even knowing it and stuff. I never thought about being an exhibition, but here we are, man. Let's go for it. So once we had the place, when you look inside, nothing's been fucking changed in decades, right? So like Cinema One, the big theater in the place, the 230 seater, same seats in that movie theater are the same seats that I sat in when I watched Friday the 13th Part Two. So as long as you keep a camera looking inside the theater, not looking out, as long as everyone's outfits match the seats, you can get away with a cheap period piece. So I was like, instead of doing like, oh, we own the movie theater, so let's make a movie about people who work at the movie theater, like clerks, but ushers. But I've never worked in a movie theater, so that would feel like stolen valor to me. But I have sat in the audience since I was a child, and throughout my childhood, we did that thing every parent encouraged, which was like, we're going to drop you off at noon. I'll pick you up at 10 o'clock tonight. You see as many movies as you want, only pay for one. Theater hopping was a big part of our weekend as kids. So I was like, look, I got a movie theater. I can make a movie theater about hopping around the movie theater, just like the way we did when we were kids. And honestly, if you reach back, the audience is kind of there for it already. They're willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, even if you're Kevin Smith, because people love sentimental journeys, people love nostalgia, and in this instance, you're talking about the universality of like hanging out with your friends at a movie theater. I still got a few more years to pluck that string because there's a whole generation of kids ain't gonna have that memory to look back on, as much as me, as much as you, as much as like, even my mom watches this movie and it's like, I remember all of that stuff. So it was because we had the theater itself, like kind of like with Clerks, because we had a community, because I worked in the convenience store. I was like, well, I could shoot a movie in here. And that kind of dictated the story. Same thing here. And people, I'm not going to say people like this movie as much as Clerks, but they seem to like this movie more than anything I've done in a while. And people reference, like, hey, man, there's a Clerks thing going on here and stuff. For the rest of my life, anytime I do something remotely watchable, people will be like, it's like Clerks, as opposed to like, it's like yoga hosers.
Oh,
But
that's awesome, man.
it's honestly it's the theater brought out the magic of this movie, because since you're trying to capture a movie about being in the movies without sitting back and watching the movies, because traditionally that's what we do at a movie theater. When you're a kid and you spend as much time in the movie theater as you do, other things go on as well. It becomes kind of the center of your life, so we were able to kind of extend it into this magical day movie that's just soft as a kitten. Like there's no edge to this thing whatsoever. And that, as a filmmaker, I was like, who the fuck's gonna like this? Like I honestly felt like this is only for like middle-aged people like me who remember going to the movies, and like no kid is gonna like this because there's not a single cell phone in it, nobody like tick or talking. But it turns out like you can't second guess the audience. Thank God I make the movie for the same reason every time. I want to see it. Then everything else is trickled down and stuff. And I was desperate to see this, and it looks like people are like, "Yay, good job."
Yeah, well, I had a great time with this for all the reasons you said, and more. And one of that, was the nostalgia. So for you as a writer, with the benefit of hindsight, writing a movie like this, you can drop in those lines. no one's ever going to pay to see a Batman movie, some digs at the post-credit scenes, a little bit of talk about Star Wars on TV. How much
Yeah.
fun is that for you to go back and throw stuff like that in?
I mean, I believe me, as a writer, I know it's the lowest hanging fruit. And I've seen a few reviews where like he goes to that well many times in this movie, but it's undeniably fun to, have characters in the movie predicting the future. And we live in the future. It's one of my favorite tropes from movies that are made in the present about movies set in the past. And like the one that always leaps to mind is Cameron's movie. The rock movie, the touring movie. What was it called? God damn it.
Oh, I know exactly the one you mean. I'll have to add it in post because yeah, it's just tip of my tongue.
Facing like when they had Jimmy Fallon, as a tour manager talking about, you think Mick Jagger's still going to be on stage doing it at age 50 and stuff. Like moments like that you get away with when you're making a movie set like long before. So they were fun. And I've sat and watched it with audiences, and naturally those moments are like that's where the audience laughs the hardest, and it's not in like abject mockery. It's just like, oh yeah, we were so innocent then.
For sure. Well, Kevin,
Almost famous.
there you go. Perfect. Yeah, that's the one. Well, Kevin, such a fun movie, fantastic performances, just a fantastic script and direction, and such a pleasure to talk to you as a fan of yours. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Means the world, man. Thanks so much.
Congrats on the movie. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.